Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I will be analyzing the company of Fluence Energy, which just went public this past Thursday, October 28, 2021 in the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol FLNC. And already on the first day of trading, I can already advance that it went up more than 20%. As always, my aim with this video is to analyze the most relevant aspects, in my opinion, based on their SEC filing. And afterwards, if you're interested or if you think that the company is interesting based on the video, you can go and you should go and do your own due diligence on it, of course, before investing or doing anything else. Nevertheless, before I go into the full analysis, let me quickly give you a short overview of the main topics that I will be covering today. Firstly, I will start with a general introduction to the company, and we will also look at some key metrics. Then we will go into the industry and competitors, followed as always by the financials, and we will compare those of Fluence Energy with those of two other competitors, which will be in this case Tesla and Wärtsilä. After that, we will go into the IPO price and valuation, and we will again compare it to the competitors. And finally, as always, I will be giving my personal opinion on the company and also my future plans with it. With that said though, and after I remind you that if you enjoyed the video, it would really be super awesome if you could give it a like, because these videos really take a super long time to make. And please also consider subscribing if you want to see more IPO related videos like this one and potentially discover new companies that are worth investing in. But as I said, with that said, let's go for it. Fluence Energy provides energy storage products as well as services. On products, they mainly have three different ones, which are grid stack, sun stack, and edge stack. Firstly, grid stack is basically energy storage for the most demanding market applications in mind, for instance in large electricity distribution points from the grid. Then the sun stack is the energy storage specifically designed for solar plants. And finally, the edge stack is the most basic one, and it is the energy storage product for commercial and industrial customers. An example of a practical application of this would be, for instance, a factory that only operates during the day, but at night it is closed, there's nothing going on. In that case, if you just have the regular electricity contracted, you most probably have to have a lot of power, because when all the machines and everything is running, you want to make sure that you have the electricity to be able to sustain your operations. And this usually costs quite a lot of money. What this factory could do is to have this edge stack product, which are essentially just batteries, and maybe during the night that also the electricity tends to be cheaper, just charge these batteries that then they could use during the day to power all the machines that they are using. With this, they could firstly save money if they make smart use of the batteries and just charge them at night when electricity is cheaper, and also save money by having less electricity contracted, less power of electricity, and by that they could also save money. Then, together with the products itself, they also have its own software, which is Fluence OS, and this one is basically the one that allows you to manage the day-to-day operations of these systems. And then also they have another one, which is Fluence IQ, which this one, it's a digital platform that uses artificial intelligence in order to make automatic decisions to optimize the use of these large battery packs that we just discussed previously. Of course, this system is super advanced and it takes into account lots of different variables, including the weather or the price of the electricity. And actually, according to their website, they say that by having Fluence IQ, customers boost their energy storage revenue by more than 50% compared to manual trading techniques, which is just crazy. With what I have presented up until now, you might have already guessed it, but the customers of Fluence Energy are major utilities, developers, and commercial and industrial customers, so they are mostly doing B2B. And then on revenue streams, I really like it because they don't only make money from selling these energy storage products just that one time and that's it. No, they also have recurring revenue from maintenance, management, and also the software licenses. So when they sell one of these energy storage units to a customer, the customers can choose whether they want to manage that facility or that infrastructure themselves, or if they want to leave it to Fluence. And of course, that brings recurring revenue for Fluence Energy. I did not mention anything until now, but actually Fluence was born as a joint venture between Siemens and AES Energy. In fact, members of the board of directors and the leadership team were in the founding team of AES Energy when the world's first lithium-ion energy storage system was conceived and tested on an electric grid back in 2007, which proves that the management team has experience in what they are doing right now. And recently, and by recently I mean this past year, 2020, they made an acquisition of $125 million of advanced microgrid solutions, which is basically what they then renamed to Fluence IQ, and what we just spoke now, and that they have been improving ever since. Switching to manufacturing, they have everything outsourced, and its providers are currently based in Asia, although they have plans to also have manufacturing providers in Europe and North America in the next years to come. And the last thing before I go into the industry and the competitors is regarding key operational metrics. On it, we can see that the number of energy storage products, service contracts, and digital contracts deployed, so done to date, has increased substantially, especially in the past year. Together with an increase in backlog, so signed customer orders that still need to be executed, and pipeline, which is potential revenue with a reasonable likelihood of being executed in the coming 2 years, which are all good signs that there is a lot of demand for the products of Fluence Energy. Moving now into the industry, I will be mentioning several different numbers, but it could be summarized in that it has great future potential. Basically because we as a society are moving towards renewable energies, and the problem with renewables is that they are unreliable. We cannot choose when the wind blows or the sun shines. It simply does, and when it does, it's great, we can take advantage of that. But when it doesn't, at the moment it's a bit of a problem. To solve this, one of the ways is to have energy storage systems like the ones that Fluence provides. And in fact, the energy transformation of renewable adoption will require $100 trillion through 2020 based on the midpoint of Bloomberg New Energy Finance NEO of 2020. Focusing on the energy storage, according to Bloomberg NEF, global installed energy storage capacity, excluding the residential market, grew 57% per year between 2015 and 2020, and the installed base is expected to grow at 31% yearly through 2030. Together with the increase in demand for these products, there is also a forecasted reduction in the battery cost of approximately 8% yearly from 2020 to 2030, again estimated by Bloomberg NEF. Now it's time to talk about the competitors, and on that we must acknowledge that Fluence is targeting a very specific niche, which is that of large energy storage systems. Based on their S1 filing, they consider their main competitors to be Tesla and Wärtsilä, although we could also include others such as RES, Fluence Energy, or Nidec ASI. However, for the continuation of this video, we will go with the two first ones, so Tesla and Wärtsilä, because both of these are publicly traded and we have information from them. Unfortunately, this time, the comparison with the competitors, I feel like it's not so relevant, because on the one hand we have Tesla, which yes, it has battery storage technology and they build batteries and so on, but it's mostly targeted for their cars and also for the power walls that they sell, but those are mostly for individual use. And again, the main numbers that they make of their revenue is just based on the sale of the cars. And then we have Wärtsilä, which yes, it's also involved in batteries, but they also sell engines for the marine sector, and they design and build energy producing plants. So we have here two other companies which yes, they are somehow competing also with Fluence, but they are also in many other businesses, and the financials won't reflect solely the part in which we would have to compare it with Fluence Energy. Before comparing them though, let's first go into the financials of Fluence. And on this, starting first with revenues, we can see that this grew impressively between fiscal year 2019 and 2020, and by the way, each fiscal year ends on September 30th. And for this fiscal year 2021, the average of the estimations they gave is that they will make $674 million, which would represent a 20% increase in revenues. And on revenues, it is also relevant to know that there is seasonality in their business, with most orders happening between April and September, and also that the business still has high customer concentration, with the top 5 customers in fiscal year 2020 accounting for 90% of the total revenues. Moving to the bottom line, we can see that the company is not profitable, and actually losses are expected to increase significantly this year. On it, there are several factors that come into play. Firstly, there are supply chain issues as well as inflation with increase in the cost of the materials, and secondly, one vessel carrying Fluence inventory had an accident last spring and damaged most of the things it was transporting, which resulted in a gross inventory loss of $19.8 million. And third and lastly, on September 4th, 2021, there was an overheating event in an energy storage facility of 300 megawatts. And currently it has been taken offline, but they still don't know the financial impact that this will have. Then switching to the balance sheet, the debt ratio pro forma after the offering is expected to be of 50.41%, which is very conservative. And since they are still reporting substantial losses, it is good that they have at least $702 million in cash, which hopefully should be enough margin to help them continue growing and someday achieve profitability. Now comparing the financials of Fluence with those of Tesla and Wärtsilä, and I already advanced that I don't think that it makes a lot of sense to do so, as they are companies with different products mostly and also at very different stages. But anyways, firstly on revenue growth, Fluence has been growing the most, but then on profitability, Tesla and Wärtsilä are profitable while Fluence isn't. And then the net profit margins of all companies are actually very low. Leaving this and going into the IPO price and valuation, we have that the initial price range set when they first started publishing this IPO was of a range between $21 and $24 per share. Then in the last minute they increased it to $28 per share, so that was the final IPO price. And then on the first day, as we commented initially, it jumped up more than 20% and it stood at $34 per share when I was finishing to prepare this video. Going into the shares outstanding after the offering, it is good to see that the founders will retain 92.2% of the voting power and 70.3% of the economic interest. And at this point, taking the current share price, the shares outstanding, and the estimated sales for this fiscal year 2021, we have a price to sales ratio of 8.52 times. And if we compare this to Tesla or Wärtsilä, we see that Tesla is trading extremely expensive and Wärtsilä much cheaper. As I said though, the comparison to the competitors, I don't find it super useful in this case. In light of everything that we have seen, what are my plans with this stock? Personally, I won't be investing in it. The reason for that is that there's a lot of hype at the moment. I feel like there's too much hype, which is also proved by the fact that the initial IPO price or the average of this initial range was of $22.5 per share, and currently it is trading at more than $34 per share, which is not doubling but a substantial increase in price. On top of that, I already have companies within this renewable space and also in battery technologies such as, for instance, Enphase or FTC Solar, which I feel like they are pretty similar, so I don't want to have more exposure, and I don't think that investing in Fluence will give me better results than just focusing on these companies. But do I see it trading extremely expensive, Fluence Energy? No, actually not. There are companies that are trading much more expensive, but at the same time it also has more risks because, as we saw, the losses are pretty high still. Of course they are very well capitalized, but we also need to monitor how the inflation evolves over time and whether we end up really seeing this hyperinflation, which could really hurt the margins and make the company report even larger losses. Anyways, please remember that everything that I shared in this video is just based on my opinion, my calculations, and my research, which of course all of them could be wrong, so I take absolutely no responsibility, and you should anyways always do your own due diligence before investing in this or any stock. With that said though, what are your thoughts on Fluence Energy? Will you be investing in its IPO or have you already invested in it? Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and as always, see you next time.